What is going on? Welcome back to a brand new video. Today, we're still talking about the KSI vs Wade drama because Wade just dropped an absolute bombshell video on KSI today, which really shows how KSI's mask has truly slipped off and people can see now the person he really is because Wade comes with the receipts. Like the video if you support Wade, comment your opinion down below, and let's get into it. So Wade starts the video off by, introducing that he's making this because KSI Mams Taylor called his actual character into question. And for people not familiar, he also explains where this situation and how pathetic it was stemmed from.
As you guys probably already know, I am making this video to respond to my character being called into question as a person and a professional by two individuals, Mams Taylor and KSI. And as you guys probably already know, this all, at least from what you guys think, stemmed from a video I did called KSI versus Jake Paul is not happening. And in that video, I said, even though I previously had thought different, I wasn't so sure that KSI and Jake Paul would pull better pay-per-view numbers than Jake Paul and Tommy Fury. Now, we're going to get into all of that in a second, but that was the tipping point for everything that came my way. All of, like I said, the personal attacks. KSI saying I was two-faced, that I was playing both sides, and even going as far as to saying, fuck everything you stand for, you two-faced word I can't say here. Mams Taylor publicly in front of everyone in a Twitter space and now everyone in the influencer boxing scene, just like all of this was done publicly in front of everyone, told me to go have fun on Kingpin, effectively firing me from Misfits.
Even already just starting this video, you feel so bad for Wade. You can tell even in his voice, his demeanor, how this has impacted him and how he definitely just didn't want any of this, like at all. Probably just came so out of left field for him. He does not deserve this shit. Wade then also addresses KSI's apology.
Now, since then, KSI and Mams Taylor have apologized for their tone, the outlash, the way in which they went about things, but the apologies themselves don't make up for the words that were said to me. The attacks on my character, personally and professionally, saying that I am one way behind the scenes and one way on camera. I can promise you guys it's not the truth. I'm going to prove it to every one of you guys that supported me right now.
I'm so glad Wade is doing this. I've watched the video already and he really goes in and shows KSI for who he is. A lot of people, and I've seen it, I'm part of the UK community, if KSI comes at them, they hide, they bow down to him, they let him steamroll over them. He is used to people bending to his will and giving into his demands or his way, or having his legions of fans attack anyone who criticizes him and just drowns it out. But Wade is about to land a knockout blow here in this video and really show KSI's character. Firstly, Wade addresses KSI's response on the Side Plus video that we talked about last night.
KSI made a video, or was a part of a video on Side Plus, and he addressed the situation, and by doing so showed me that not only is this apology that was tweeted at this almost exact same time Mams Taylor tweeted it, and I know exactly why, starting to ring hollow, but that he's not even trying to hide the fact that they're lying.
And if you didn't already see, KSI apologized before, then went on the podcast and started chatting even more shit about Wade. You can really see in these clips how his ego, how much it dictates his emotions and his decision making. KSI proved in that clip he really wasn't sorry at all. The only thing he was sorry for was the backlash he was getting.
Obviously allowed to have his opinion on anything. He can, it's a free society. You can say whatever you want, do whatever you want. That's cool. But I'm okay. I'm allowed to hate on it as well.
Yeah.
I'm allowed to.
He says, I'm allowed to have my opinion on anything, but he's allowed to hate on it as well. And I know he's misspeaking there, and he means he's allowed to have his own opinion. And he's right. I've never told KSI he can't have his own opinion on the things that I say or anybody else says, because why would I do that? Of course he can have his own opinion, just like I can have mine, but only one of us got upset about that, and it wasn't me.
Damn. Wade is cooking right now. Speaking facts, KSI acts like all he did was like respond and hate Wade's opinion, when we all saw that he tried to ruin Wade's whole career, livelihood, and assassinate his character, which is why even KSI fans are turning against him for this.
Behind the scenes, he's there like, this tag team idea, brilliant, I love it. And then online, he's there like, not sure about this. Don't think this is a good idea. Da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, bro, you 1 minute you're saying you like it to me in private, and publicly you're saying what the public want to hear. So
none of this is true. I can't believe JJ just flat out said that to the Sidemen. To be honest, I liked JJ, and I still want to like JJ, but I don't know if he's confused or if he's just flat out lying here, but none of this has happened. What I said about tag team boxing on camera is the same thing that I said behind the scenes, and I can show you guys on screen now that I have the receipts to prove it.
We have also already seen what Wade said in public. He was never hating on tag team boxing. He raised genuine safety concerns for the fighters and people involved. And the next clip of Wade and his explanation is proof of that.
January 28th was my tweet about tag team boxing, where I said, and I think a quote tweet of Fred's, that I needed to see it, but on the surface of it, I didn't like it. Because as a combat sports commentator, I have seen things tried, like multiple man fights in MMA where guys get absolutely battered with their head turns and caved in. So of course, I was concerned when I heard tag team boxing, because this is already a niche in the sport of boxing that a lot of guys that don't box are coming into, are learning how to box. And then on top of that, on a couple of weeks' notice, are going to learn how to tag team box, guys with no experience. In fact, when the tweet went live, B-Dave said he didn't even know what the rule set was.
Clearly cares about combat sports and makes extremely valid points. Learning to box in a couple weeks alone is extremely risky for your health, putting yourself on the line like that. Also, very hard. Let alone with tag team rules that have never been done before. Wade then goes on to really show how KSI lied about their whole interaction.
I only have two ways of contact with KSI. One is when we see each other in person, and two is through Twitter DM, which we're going to get into in a second. But the last time that I DM'd KSI up to that point was October 14th. And also, in person, the last time I had spoken to KSI was January 14th, 2 weeks before rumors started to circulate about tag team boxing.
Holy shit. Wade really came with the receipts, and this is exactly what you have to do when your character is being called into question like this. Firstly, showing the last DMs that took place with him and KSI. These DMs, one was way before the announcement of tag team boxing or it even being rumored. The other was just after it got announced but had nothing to do with tag team boxing, or saying how much he loved it behind the scenes and it was the best thing ever, like KSI was trying to make out to justify calling Wade a snake. And Wade also shows us that there is no way he would have talked about it to KSI in person, as the last event he was at was before tag team was even announced or any rumors of it existed. So what Wade is telling us here, showing us, is that KSI has been straight up lying about Wade to destroy his character. Why, you may ask? Maybe KSI really did not expect the backlash he was going to get against Wade. I know for a fact he didn't expect it. That's why he tweeted it out, trying to get his fans to actually swarm him and destroy his character. And when the backlash on KSI got too much, he thought of an excuse that he could use and that he probably could get away with because there might not be any proof of it or any way to prove it, to justify calling Wade all these things. But Wade, thank God, is here with the receipts. Wade then goes off on Mams Taylor.
And then the announcement was made on the 30th, and as soon as I saw it was real, I saw they were actually doing this, I sent a text to Mams Taylor. Hey Mams, just wanted to let you know I'm recording a video on this tag team idea. I'm going to be honest with the people. Just my opinion, but I don't like it. And I go into why, but that's all. And then Mams Taylor says, you never mentioned that to me when we spoke about it, and maybe I could tell you more about it before you do that. I guess he meant to say, so you have the full picture. Mams Taylor and I never spoke about tag team boxing, and I never once told Mams Taylor it was a brilliant idea that I loved, which is why I said in my reply, we never spoke about it. We spoke about a pro tournament that you had planned. All I heard of this was rumor until today. I'd gladly hear more about it for sure. Just doesn't make a ton of sense to me. Then he said, okay, we'll talk before you post so you get the full picture. So yes, I was open to hearing more about tag team boxing, and we did sit down and talk that night, and that was the very same night that I recorded the Breakdown podcast with Sensei and had these things to say about tag team boxing.
The reason you have to tag out is because imagine someone is faking like they're going to go tag, right? Like they step into that circle, they turn, boom, throw the right hand over, you know?
Rack 'em.
You can get some like safety issues could be a real thing here. This is why this, like, again, I told everybody involved I need to see this before I really make a judgment on it.
So no, I didn't hate tag team boxing. I didn't like the idea of it because of the health and safety involved with the fighters. I never said I loved the idea behind the scenes. I said that I wasn't quite sure about it and it didn't make sense to me and I needed to see it. And I know I'm taking the long way around here, but I just want to make sure you guys fully understand how wrong this is what they are saying. Again, this whole time, I had not spoken to KSI about it once.
Wade dropping another huge bombshell here, further proving again what KSI saying wasn't true. He is there in the DMs of Mams Taylor, openly giving his reservations about tag team boxing. Same way he did in the public eye. There is no doing one thing behind the scenes and doing another in the public. You can see clearly with these DMs, he is keeping it consistent. KSI, again, trying to paint him out as this snake and this two-faced guy, when Wade has now proven that he didn't tell KSI behind the scenes how much he loved it, and he said the exact same things he was saying publicly to KSI's manager. Completely shows what shady snakes KSI and Mams Taylor are. And thank God, and I've said this before, and I really need to echo this, that Wade is loved and people have his back. Because if he wasn't, KSI is used to sending his fans to steamroll people with his opinions and to set people's opinions for life just because he doesn't agree with what they're saying or they criticize him. I should know. And if Wade wasn't so loved, this could have very easily ended his career and reputation for good. KSI would never have apologized and would just be sitting around laughing at another person who's fallen victim to his ways and his god complex, and he can do whatever he wants. Wade also shows text when Mams Taylor kind of showed him the early concept, giving it actual props, and then saying the exact same thing in his video to the public.
I'm in Philadelphia and Mams Taylor hits me with the actual seeing of what tag team boxing looked like. I think it was February 13th. But he sent me some training footage that you guys have now seen live of Derek Chisora, Idris Virgo, and others training the tag team boxing. And once I watched it and saw how smooth and how it looked like it could be better protected, I said, wow, this looks smoother than I thought and can work with the right rules defined. Then I doubled down on the newfound understanding I had of that video after I saw it on the 13th with a public video on the 19th, once again proving the things I say in private, I absolutely say in public. All right, there's the tag. Referee steps in and they reset. Pretty smooth transition. I'm not mad at that at all. The guy's working here, working. Goes southpaw, boom, boom. And he goes into his corner, and a referee immediately steps in. So again, I assume, and there's another back slap tag. God dang it. If we're going to be pro wrestling, let's just at least follow that rule set. The variety that you get with Misfits is something I think is pretty dope. It isn't just one steady thing. There's a lot of different things you can latch onto and say, that's why I watch Misfits. That is why I watch influencer boxing. I'm not too mad at that. I just want to make sure it's done right.
Further proving that he doesn't operate in the snaky way that KSI and Mams Taylor tried pushing. Wade then calls KSI out again for flat out lying about him.
KSI, you flat out lied here. And I can't believe you have because you had no reason to. JJ, you either lied or you're getting your information from people you may want to start to look a little closer at, because I don't know what you're saying here, but it's flat out untrue.
So fucked, man. Wade is such a nice guy that he even gives KSI a tiny little sliver of the benefit of the doubt by saying, you know, wherever you get your information from, full well knowing KSI straight up lied, but he still does it because even as you can see in this video, Wade is a class act. And as nice as it is for Wade to say, KSI is saying these things as fact to millions of people, and he's just definitely lying. He couldn't handle his ego getting bruised. Wade makes another great point, how KSI says Wade only says the things people want to hear and plays both sides. But Wade shows proof that he hasn't done that, and even to KSI's face, he hasn't done that.
And then online, he's there like, not sure about this. don't think this is a good idea. I'm like, bro, you 1 minute you're saying you like it to me in private, and publicly you're saying what the public want to hear. So with Wade, he just wants to constantly
be on everyone's good side,
be on
as a
everyone's
journalist
good
would.
side.
Yeah,
Which
if
is,
he's got to play the game. That is his.
So, no, I don't just want to be on everyone's good side. I don't just say what the public wants to hear. JJ, you should know better than anyone that I don't do that. When the first time we met, I made sure on the record, right in front of you, when Alex Wasabi pulled out of that fight, while I was in Clapham, and I got all the news, and I came to you and I already knew the right information. And to you, just like I had on Twitter when people attacked me for saying Alex Wasabi had a factual concussion and could not fight on 2 to 3 weeks notice and should not fight with a recent concussion on 2 to 3 weeks notice, I said the same thing to you in front of you in our interview.
I think Swarms is a better fighter than Alex Wasabi.
Really?
Yes, because at least he can get into the ring.
Okay.
Yeah. Wait, what about Alex? Where's Alex?
Yeah,
Couldn't
listen,
even make it into the ring. So
listen, obviously Alex is got the concussion issues. We want to make sure that we are
no.
sensitive to
I
that.
mean,
but
no.
it is what it is, right? We move on.
I mean, Jake Paul's clowning on him.
I did see that.
Jake
I
Paul's
wasn't.
clowning on Alex, even though that's his guy.
It's his
So
representative. I don't know what happened
I
there.
don't know.
And Wade perfectly summarizes, 1, why he's the best at YouTube boxing commentating, and 2, how people like KSI just don't understand being unbiased.
But even Toby is confused as to what it is that I do as a journalist. I don't play both sides. I am unbiased. And I'm not directing this at Toby, but it's just the wordage being used. There's a difference between playing both sides and saying what people want to hear and being unbiased to both sides to make sure that I don't lean one way or another. And that's what I do. Because there is no side to me. There is no KSI side. There is no Jake side. There is the Joe Rogan rule or the commentary rule, which is you see what you say. And that's exactly what I do.
Exactly that. That is what makes great commentators in all sports. To be able to call it as you see it and not let any preconceived notions of biases dictate how you commentate that fight. Wade then hammers home again how there was no opportunity to talk to KSI in person about the tag team event.
So JJ, if I didn't speak to you online since October before February 22nd, and I didn't speak to you in person since January 14th. And in person, if we talked on Fight Week, there was only one opportunity to do that, and that was when our face-to-face was about to be set up, and I had no idea about tag team boxing at that moment. When was it that we talked about it in person? You can enlighten me, please.
The next part here as well just shows how pathetic misfits are. Wade released his own energy drink. Good for him. Much smaller channel than KSI, trying to make his own way, diversify revenue streams, and do something he probably enjoys. Something that should be celebrated. But no, not according to Misfits. Wade goes on to detail that Misfits were angry at him for doing this.
It's just so silly that I even have to say this, but another reason I was in hot water or things were an issue or I was pissing people off behind the scenes was because I had an energy drink that I dared to say was scientifically better than Prime. When I was asked on Twitter for my honest opinion about my drink, one that I have partnered with and am invested in, and believe in the product for, that doesn't contain any caffeine, that doesn't contain any sugar, I spoke honestly. When someone said, is it better than Prime? I said, in my opinion, yes. But I also, in that same tweet thread, responding to someone else that had said, oh, Wade, you're coming for Prime, I said, they're in their lane, I'm in mine. Because my drink is an alternative to people that don't necessarily want to go down the road of caffeinated drinks, but still want to have an energy boost. That's the reason I drink it. I have central nervous system problems that I'm still going through. It's why I'm in fucking Wales. And this drink offers me that alternative. And I was speaking on my own platform. I never brought that onto Misfits platforms. I never brought that onto DAZN platform. I never came out and said, hey, look at Update, how much better it is than Prime. I've never done that. And people behind the scenes at Misfits still got upset at me for it.
How fucking sad. Who do Misfits think they are? This whole situation has just completely destroyed their brand's reputation. Running their company as if everyone and everything must go their way and bend to their will. Honestly, I am so glad and I rate Wade so highly for standing up for himself as much as he has here. KSI, you probably had every chance with Wade to right your wrongs. If you did that apology and talked to Wade in private like you said and actually were sincere and realised how wrong you were, this whole thing wouldn't have got this bad. But now, truly, KSI, I think you have messed up so bad, people will never be able to look at you in the same light again, because this kind of shit people don't forget, especially if it's their favorite YouTuber switching up like this. All you could do is keep crying on Twitter. This has to be such a career-defining moment for KSI, like in a complete worst way possible. People don't mind when you're egotistical and throwing your weight around with people like Jake Paul, who are also just as bad as you. When you start punching down and coming for people for their characters, their integrity, their careers and their livelihood based on lies and things that you don't know shit about, that is when you're gonna see a huge amount of backlash and realize you aren't as invincible as you think you are. KSI's mask here really has slipped off. He is also in bed and doing business with absolute twats. Like the video if you support Wade, agree with Wade, and man, comment your opinions, because this was crazy. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you like things being kept real with you. That is it for this video, and until next time, fuck off.